Hey, what's up, Caden? Laura, how we doing?
Good, Jared.
Hey, so what happened with that property that we were looking at?
I called Armando and he's supposed to be getting me those documents.
Hmm.
I was supposed to hear from him yesterday when he got off of work, but I
Yeah.
haven't yet. So I was going to call him today when he
Mm.
got off work and see. He might have had trouble finding those. He said that his dad had them in boxes and there was just a ton of boxes downstairs. So
Or even like the latest statement or whatever the foreclosure stuff that they were getting would have most of the information we need just to give so we know what kind of offer you can give them.
okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
and I'll
just
tell him that when I talk to him today on the phone.
yeah, I mean that's gonna be a huge help. Just figuring out that part and then then we get a solid offer. So yeah.
And I was able to confirm with Kat the basement was 384 square feet, and she said she has a guy that could,
Oh, 380.
full, yeah, fully do it for or fully redo it for like 8 to 10,000 with how small it is.
Yeah, with 300 square feet, I can almost believe that. Yeah.
So
Because if it's just drywall, and are they putting is there like plumbing in there for a bathroom and things like that?
yeah, yeah, so it's subbed for a bathroom already.
Got it. So bathroom and then like another bedroom or two, possibly. Okay.
Yeah,
Or gaming room or whatever you want to call it.
but
Okay.
I'll talk to him today about 5 or 5:30, and then I'll send you a text with an update.
Perfect. That'll be awesome. Okay. All right. People are signing in. Perfect. Senor Josh, what's up, man? Yeah. We got Kaden, Laura. Perfect. Got a powerhouse today. Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, I mean, Bryce's number. Dang it. Okay. View, enter, everyone. Perfect. Okay. Lighting. It's a little intense. Okay. Sweet. Awesome, guys. Well, first of all, I'm going to share a document here and I'm going to make a post on it with the battle buddies. So I have most of everyone's phone numbers in there. Mm, link. Okay. So I'm going to put it in the post and also going to pin this to the very top of the chat. So that right there is like the battle buddy assignments, team battle buddy teams. I don't know. I don't even want to call it, but it's that. Save that link, and you can't edit it. So as far as like your contact information, if you don't want it there, you can erase it too, or for missing it and add it. Laura, oh, I gotta put your. I know I have yours.
Where is
Um,
this at? In the school app?
yeah. So it's in the chat right now, and then I'm gonna put it in the app to be able to see it. So check the chat right now in the in the Zoom.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Okay. And then I'm gonna repost the link into the community, so it'll be available. Um, Okay. So, and if there's challenges or whatever, and if you're in a team of 3 or 4 and it's only 2 of you that are communicating that are in it, that's okay. The reason why, I mean, before was just the previous games, it was just one. You had one battle buddy, someone to hold each other accountable, talk about your goals, whatnot. But there was, like, in every program, there's people that's just maybe they were planning to be really involved, but then some life happens and they weren't as involved, um, or there had some blockages for not communicating. There's a lot of reasons why not. So I'm not going to judge anyone. Um, I mean, just kidding. I'm judging everybody. I'm just kidding. No judgment here. But that's if, as long as you have another person that's meeting with, it doesn't have to be the entire team. So I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm doing teams of 3 and 4 versus just 2. So you should, and I organize it where people are like, okay, there's going to be at least 2 of these people that are going to be active, or at least 3 of, they're going to be there every week. So yeah, and if there are other challenges, like possibly like could be in a team of 4 and you're the only one, no one else is playing the games, that's okay. We'll figure it out. We can put you in I can move you around a little bit, so that's not a big deal. So just let me know after give them a fair shot. So if you're missing contact information, if you want to put in more information in there, basically make sure like the phone numbers are there and a few emails. I'll probably continue to put the emails, but if you don't want yours in there, just let me know. Yeah. So real quick on the battle buddies, what's the purpose of it? And I know I did a video, and everyone should have watched it already. Oh, by the way, the recording video should be working now. I know some people that had some challenges watching the past recordings, but that should be fixed. If it's still giving you issues, let me know. I was talking to Jeff today this morning through text messages, and through back and forth we were able to figure it out. Like, oh, that's what it was. So if you haven't, and I'll make a post about it too here in a little bit. But if you're having a hard time still watching the recording videos, just let me know. So the battle buddies, just to be clear, so everyone's on the same page with your battle buddy, battle team, you can come up with a cool name and then edit it in the sheet, because that's just fun. That's the fun part. If not, maybe I'll just make up some cool names. I like to do fun stuff like that. Um, so come with a name that's like a side quest project, and then uh, the goal is to meet at least once a week, whether that's through Zoom, phone calls, in person. If you can, if you guys are all local, then in person, all the better, belly to belly, great. But it could be hard with schedules and location, all that stuff. Most everyone's in the Salt Lake area, give or take. There's some out-of-staters, but and people like a couple people out there, Josh, that's out in the Boone Annie, um, the Orem area, kind of. So, or Utah County. Um, so yeah, and there's a few things when you guys do meet, you're talking about a couple of things. The goals that you made for yourself for last week and how well you did. So it's not like, oh, Jared said I have to do 100 MMAs this week. I mean, you should. That's a good way to go. But if it's not, I mean, maybe your time's a little bit different. Maybe you're doing different kinds of MMA, so it's hard to get bigger quantities. So whatever goal that you are setting personally, and also, by the way, and so Anna, like you want to using Anna's example, right? Because I think you got a cold caller call in, and Jason as well. So Jason has some cold callers, right? So you can count your cold calling as MMAs, but you really should have MMAs for yourself as well. So maybe you want to have like side, you know what I mean? But they still count, because it's just you're putting money into deal finding versus doing yourself. It's still the same thing. It's still an MMA. Whether you're paying someone to do the money making activity or you're doing it, that's an MMA. I just recommend having so if you're doing stuff like what Anna's doing and what Jason's doing, I think some other people that have VAs that are doing some phone calls and whatnot. then yeah, that counts as MMAs. So throw it in there. That gets you a big advantage. It's really good. But make goals for yourself too, to have your own MMAs, whatever that may be. Whether it's not smaller than a full or part-time associate, but that's okay. So you're talking about the goals you had in the past. How well did you do in the past week? Did you hit them? Did you not hit them? Um, and the whys. And the thing is, you guys need to hold each other accountable. If Josh is one of my battle buddies, and I tell Josh that, hey, I didn't hit my goals this week, we need to be okay with holding each other accountable and asking those tough questions. And this may be contrary to a lot of different personalities that are here. So like calling someone out because they didn't do their MMAs, like if Josh and I are battle buddies and Josh is not holding me accountable, then he's not being nice. He's being selfish. If Josh really cares about me and my success, he's going to hold me accountable. If he's just doesn't really care, oh, it's fine, you'll try better next week, you're good. Then does Josh really care about me? Like generally? Like he cares, he doesn't want to hurt my feelings, but is that really the best thing for me? Or is the best thing for me and my goals to do as MMAs? If you really care about someone, you're going to hold them accountable to their goals because you want them to succeed. You want them to close deals. You want them to do, to land, to hit success. You want them to be successful. And so holding them accountable, so Josh can say, well, what happened? Why didn't you make those 100 phone calls? Why didn't you do those 100 MMAs? Well, I mean, I was doing this other deal and it kind of blew up, and it's like, okay, well, how much time did it take you to do that deal? What were you doing? And there was no time where you could have snuck in and made at least a portion of those calls at all. Like, well, actually, yeah, there probably was some time. I just use it as an excuse. You know what I mean? Asking those type of questions, holding each other accountable, that's huge.
Hey, Jared,
Because then I know. Yeah. What was that?
Sorry. Can I chime in? I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I love this, and I want the feedback.
Yeah.
The reason I get so stuck in my own way of thinking and just the natural, like, I can't call myself out on myself. That doesn't, it's, you can't. Right. You need someone else who's objectively, just, unbiased that can do it for you. So you need that.
Right. I remember we had some calls. I think it was last games, and some people came to me and said, or during the call, they were very nice to be open and said that they're having a hard time just dedicating the sacred time and to do MMAs. And then I told her, well, then it's not sacred to you. It's not real sacred time. And she was like, oh, so I saw that, like, the light kind of turned on in her head because I said that, because it's not sacred to you. If it was really sacred, you would get it done. You would make that happen. And if that means you got to turn it back or whatever, then you got to do it. So there's actually a couple people that we had that conversation on the calls. And so if I was too afraid of hurting her, and I didn't say, like, I wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything, but the fact that I do care about all of you guys and I want you to be successful, it's in my best interest to call you out on it, and vice versa, right? For you to be most successful, you need to be called out on our shenanigans. Like Jeff says, you guys, everyone here is the best salesman in the world for yourself. Every time that you don't do something, you sold yourself on that, for whatever it is. That voice in your head told you something not to do it, and you didn't do it. And you're so good at it. We are in general so great at selling ourselves on whatever it is, whatever the idea is, whether it's taking action or not taking action or whatever it is, that sometimes we don't recognize, like what Jeff pointed out, like, you don't realize that your BS is your BS. I mean, I'm talking about an excuse, and if he calls me out and asks him, like, well, why didn't you do it like at this time, or couldn't you find a different time, or you have this excuse that happened Did that take out the whole week? What about Saturday? Did you not have any time on Saturday to make those phone calls or whatever, right? Like generally, like dive in. We have to give each other permission to ask those type of questions and to hold each other accountable. This is gonna be the huge. And once this happens, then they know every time you go to our accountability meetings, our battle buddy meetings, I know I gotta have my everything lined up because otherwise Josh is gonna call me out on it. But if we start having those meetings and then Josh doesn't ever call me out on it, and no one else in my team is calling me out on it, then I know that I can slack off this week and I'm not going to be held accountable. So what happens? There's less motivation. There's no accountability. Even if I am having the meetings, okay, then you're going to have the same results. So care enough for each other, for yourself, and do what you would like to be done. That you're going to make things happen. That you're going to hold each other accountable. And that's the biggest thing with accountability. And that's one thing that we really failed on last games is, and I will own up to that. Like I should have held you guys, the people that were in last games, accountable for holding each other accountable. You know, which by the way, as far as the turning in your MMAs, like the first week I'm letting it slide, but every week by Friday, we got to turn in all MMAs, fill out that little worksheet. If you're having a hard time finding it, let me know. It's pinned in the comments. Should be able to get it. But yeah, this is definitely we need to hold each other accountable. This is what makes it more successful than any other quote unquote challenge or anything like that is if we're actually holding each other accountable. And I'm going to harp on this, a lot. We really got to get this. This is like a huge key to success, guys. I promise you. So we're talking about the previous goals, holding each other accountable, what we did or didn't do, and high fives too. Like if Josh hit all of his MMAs and he did even more, like, dude, that is so freaking awesome. I love that so much. You inspired me for this. You had this challenge. You still did this. Kick butt. Keep it going. I want to be just like you. Pat each other, not just hold each other accountable, but also hold each other accountable for the successes. Like, oh, I made 3 offers, but no one. I had a goal for 1 offer, and I made 1 offer, or I made 3 offers, like, and no one accepted it. So like maybe he's a little bummed out. Like, dude, that's awesome. You made that goal. You got 3 no's instead of like just 1 no. That's 3 times more than you were thinking. Whatever it is, like, also hold each other, like, build people up. So we're talking about the past goals, and then. Also, if I made my goals, we should have also came up with a carrot and a stick. So the carrot is the reward you're getting for that week. So if you hit your MMA, you hit your goals, what's your reward? And it could be something small. It could be big. But you want to have something consistent, right? So you're not, it could be, taking the wife out or spouse out, night in the town, something like that, It could just be like, I'm going to watch the movie I always wanted to watch. I'm going to go to the movie theaters. I haven't gone to movie theaters in a long time. I want to go watch a movie just for me or something. I don't know. I'm going to play video games for 2 hours uninterrupted. I'm going to go on a hike. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Something you don't normally necessarily do, because it's something you always do. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to spend an extra hour on TikTok and just start scrolling. But every day you're on TikTok scrolling for like 2 hours, then that's not a reward. That's something that just you do normally. And now you're just making it a reward. Does that make sense? So it's something that you enjoy that you don't necessarily do a lot. And you need to make sure that you're like, during this time, I'm only going to do that thing if I hit my goals. And then it actually becomes a reward in there's a reason why we're doing this, guys. This is using your brain mechanisms, physiology, whatever the right wording is, I don't know, but using your brain organ to your advantage, because we're designed, your brain is an organ and is designed to keep you alive. It's not designed to keep you healthy. It's not designed to keep you successful. It's designed to push you towards pleasure and run away from fear and pain. That's what it's designed for. That's why we have all of these blocks and these weird things that we do that we don't understand, is because even though it's causing pain, like not making those phone calls, that's scary and pain, you know, especially if you don't have your avatar set up or anything. It can be scary. And so doing something else, cleaning the desk, talking to the missus, doing whatever excuse you're telling yourself, that's less painful. So it runs that. Even though not making the phone calls, you know, in the long run it's gonna be more painful because you're not hitting your goals, you're still stuck at your crappy job or whatever the scenario is. But that's the push and pull. So we need to create the pleasure seeking. What's my reward, and also the punishment. So if I didn't hit my MMAs, Josh should know what my punishment reward is already. And like, okay, great. So mine is like, I'm gonna sing I'm a little teapot on social media and embarrass myself. Uh, you guys, these all things you guys heard before, but like just ideas, right? And if you guys have other ideas, like let's put them in the comments. You know, put it in, make a post about it. Like here's some fun punishment ideas or cool reward ideas that you know I've been thinking of. People will love that, you know, and you can have the same rewards and punishments, like copy and paste, guys. That absolutely doesn't have to be original, long as it's actual reward and punishment for yourself, whatever it falls in. That's what you really want. So donating $50 to a charity you don't believe in, or a sports team you don't believe in, or whatever that amount may be, taking your accountability team out to dinner on your tab if you can afford something like that. You know, but it's not, you know, you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation depending where you're at financially wise, but that could be something that's going to hurt, but you know, not put you in the ruin by any means. But you know, it'll be, or maybe it does put you in a really tough situation. That's the punishment. Like if I'm paycheck to paycheck, and my punishment is I got to take out 3 other people to dinner that Saturday or something. Well, that, I mean, that's gonna be a heavy penny. I'm gonna pay that once, and I'm like, man, this whole next week and a half is gonna be really rough because now I have like zero expendable income. Um, yeah, it's gonna suck, and maybe that's exactly what you need. So I don't know. It's something you gotta decide for yourselves. So figuring out the punishment, and it doesn't have to be the same every single week. You can change it up if needed, if you want to, whatever. Just don't be a pansy about it. Like, oh yeah, because if we're making it ourselves, we can make it really easy and simple. So as accountability partners too, if you sense that I'm making a punishment really easy, like, oh yeah, I gotta clean my living room. Hey, doing that. I gotta do the dishes. That's my punishment. Like, is that really a punishment? That's something you should do anyways. But like, you know what I mean? Maybe the dishes is like the worst thing. You absolutely hate it. You know, that's like the worst task, and you always have your kids or spouse do it or whatever. That might be something, but it is something that my accountability partner should call me out on. Like, is that really like good enough punishment? Is that going to motivate you not to make those phone calls so you don't have to do the dishes? And maybe it is, and that's okay. But something like that is you all should ask each other to make sure that it really is a punishment. Does that make sense?
Can I
Punishment?
share?
Yeah, perfect. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, I struggle figuring out what the carrot, what the stick is.
Yeah.
And I got one. I'll share it with the team or whatnot. But when I thought of the stick, my reaction, and I think this is what you're getting at. My reaction was so disgusted that I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm going to do that. There is absolutely no way I want to do that. So I'm like, I found it. I think I found it.
Well, and that should be I love that, because that should be the reaction for the punishment. Like, I don't want that. It has to be big enough where it's larger than your fear of making that of doing that, the MMA, of knocking on the door, making that phone call. It has to be larger than that, or at least equivalent to, and then plus the reward will help push you over the edge. So the bare minimum. So whatever fear that you have about doing those MMAs, those money making activities, talking to people, the punishment has to be a larger pain point than that fear. Otherwise, it won't work. Because then, if I'm terrified of knocking on those doors, I'm terrified of making the phone call, and my punishment is like, you know, I could do a video and I could do single teapot, and that's fine. Like I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that than make phone calls. Then that's not a real punishment. Or and that's why you're doing like you're both things like my reward, like just having silence for 2 hours in a week without having to worry about the kids, or whatever. Like negotiate with your spouse if it's something like that, where I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna game. I'm just gonna go to a game shop and play some cards or something like that, or night with the boys or something like that, right? Something that's like that actually excites you. That's pretty consistent. Like yes, it's really going to reinforce the more rewards you're doing. It's going to reinforce those, and you're attaching it to those activities of MMAs, and so it's going to reinforce in your subconscious of how this stuff is good. So not only are you going to be closing deals, but as the weeks go on and you're rewarding yourself for hitting your goals, these small steps, it's going to be you're going to have more motivation to actually do it. Because here's the thing, guys, like making $30,000, $20,000 in a single deal in 2 weeks, that's a pretty big reward, right? But if it's something you haven't done or you haven't done consistently, it can seem so far out there that it doesn't even register as a reward, because it's just so far. It's something that maybe you haven't done at all or enough of to really feel like, oh yeah, that's something I'm going to work toward. Like I can make $20,000 next 2 weeks, absolutely no problem. If that's not like your first reaction, then that's why it's so important to have these small steps and wins along the way to really push you through, start taking action. It's crucial. It's key, guys. I promise. If you get this down and really care about each other enough to hold each other accountable, because you want them to hold you accountable, and if they're not holding you accountable, call them out on it. I mean, let's be adults about it. Like, listen, like if I'm in a team with Josh and he's not holding me accountable, I'm like, dude, you kind of don't let me off on easy. I know I messed up. Like, call me out on it. I mean, honestly, that's what, and that might be kind of hard. I'm not saying you have to be mean or anything. It's just like, okay, so what can you do better? What happened? You can just ask questions, be curious. That's it. We don't want to be jerks to each other. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, and we also have to give permission to be direct with each other. There's a difference between being direct and being a jerk. Okay, so let's make sure we're on that, and then communicative when we're talking with each other. And if Josh is not holding me accountable, then I need to like say, hey, listen, I'm someone that can take a lot of self-critic or a lot of positive feedback or constructive feedback. So give it to me, like have at it, or like, hey guys, listen, I'm really terrible about constructive feedback. So if you guys just be careful on how you word it, and then I'm going to be better. I'm working on this. So, but I still want to be called out on my BS. Let's communicate how but we have to be real with it too, right? It's easy to find excuses or like, oh, I'm really sensitive, so don't call me out. Like, okay, but you need to make sure that the call outs that are being happening is effective. If it's not being effective, then you need to change it. If Josh his version of calling me out is doesn't it's still for me like, okay, I'm okay with not doing I'm okay not doing the MMAs. Either one, I mean, it's probably because your punishment and rewards aren't over the amount of fear of or whatever's stopping you from actually doing your MMAs. It's not high enough, right? And your accountability partners need to kind of help you with that too. Okay. Yeah, I like this a lot. Okay, cool. So we're talking about, and I'm going deep into this stuff. I know we're talking about lead generation here, but this is something that really it's super crucial, super key to really go over this stuff and get a really good understanding of this. Okay, so we're meeting once a week with our battle team, and even if it's just two of you showing up, okay, cool, just two of you showed up. When it's just one person, then okay, we may need to have a conversation about that, and we can kind of figure out what's going on, right? But you're meeting up, talking about your goals that you had. How did you do? And then what your goals are for the upcoming week. And this is the first week, right? So it's like, you know what, guys, I really didn't set any goals last week, but this is the new week. We're gonna start. We're gonna hitting. This is my goals. And if you want to throw fitness in there, throw it in there, right? But make sure there's at least there's an MMA goal in there. And so like, what is my goals for this next coming up? The next 7 days, what am I going to look at? How many MMAs am I doing? Whether that's daily, whether that's, what's my sacred time? Was I able to follow the sacred? So again, I can really get this structured out and pencil it in, but I really think we need to be adults and understand what makes us tick. Because I can give us like I can say, all right, Josh, you need to tell me what's your sacred time. But if that's not going to motivate him to actually take action, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So if you need to figure out what your goals are, in the MMA specifically, you want to add extra stuff into it. Great, awesome. And then what's your reward? So that's something we need, and it doesn't have to be hour-long sessions. If there's only 2 or 3 of you that showing up, I mean, 5-10 minutes each person. That's it. Done. Sweet. Okay, cool. You hit your goals, dude. That's awesome. That's sweet. What did you learn? Sweet. What's gonna be your reward now? Oh yeah. Oh great. Yeah, you're gonna go to the night of the town with the missus. That's so cool, dude. That is awesome. What are you guys gonna do? Sweet. Good job. Great job. What's your goals for next for and I'll put in the post that I'll put in questions too that we should be asking each other as I'm kind of like talking about it. I'm like thinking that could be just some guidelines, not saying you have to, but some guideline questions of your battle buddy sessions. Battle team meetups, or what should we call it? Battle team or team battles, battle team accountability. I don't know. I think something cool. Questions we need to ask each other, right? And then what's your goals for the following week? Okay, is that making sense, guys? Is this something? And I want everyone to come off, put in the chat that you're committing to actually meeting with your battle team every single week.
Absolutely.
All right, I got one. Okay, Marjorie, she's
I'm committed.
I'm committed.
Laura's committed. Love it.
I'm committed.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Bryce, Josh,
I'm
Put numbers
committed.
in right now. I can text everyone.
love it. Love it. And if I'm missing, I think Bryce, I don't know if I have your number in there so you can add that in there if you're missing, or if you want to put in emails, make sure to get it in there, right, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, Jared, I think you called
Yes.
it Battle Squad last time.
Battle Squad. I like that. Okay. There you are.
Jared, I have a question. Are you gonna
Yes.
match us with our teams? Are you gonna match the teams, or we're gonna choose the people?
So yeah, I've already assigned people, right? I mean, so there was a few people there's like 2 people that requested, hey, can I be with so and so? So I think I got everyone in there that requested it. And if you really want to switch or whatever and just communicate, it's fine. But yeah, if you go into the chat in Zoom, there's already a link there. But I'll also put I haven't posted it yet, but I'll post a link in the school community where we all can just click in it, and it's an Excel, or not Excel. It's a Google Sheet form, so everyone should be able to see it, and you can edit it accordingly, right? And put your social medias in there. So if you're making posts about what you're doing, like tag each other with it. I mean, that alone, that's a really good lead generation, which gets overlooked dramatically. If someone does not know you're in real estate, it's your fault. I've told the story like in the social media class. I've told the story like in where a buddy of mine, his parents sold their house to another wholesaler, and this is after I was in real estate for a couple of years at this point. But they didn't know I was in real estate. They didn't know that I was a real estate investor. That I could buy the property, and so they got a crummy deal. And after finding out, I inquired about it. Like, oh, so how much did you sell your property for? What happened? And they did this weird creative financing structure, and they basically walked away with almost nothing. And I would have offered a lot more for them, even with the seller financing. They would have got a lot more working with me. And but it's not their fault. They honestly had no idea that I was able to buy houses. No idea. They just knew me, the kid that that passed the sacrament every week, and that was it, right? And the buddies of their but friends of their sons, and that was it. That was not in the same category. So if someone does not know that you're in real estate, when it comes down to, hey, I need to sell my house, those are the easiest conversations to have when they say, hey, Jared, come by my house, or hey, Daniel, come by my house, Jesus, buy my house, Anna, I need you to buy my house. Like, those conversations are a lot easier to have than making a cold call and say, hey, have you ever thought about selling? So much easier. So
Jared,
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you, but so we were recommended to 10 people every day to let them know that you sell real estate or that you're a real estate investor, not just sell real estate.
Like
just say, I'm a real estate investor, and you do that every day, and you admit 10 people. So
I like that.
that says something that somebody can do. And I'm trying.
Mm-hmm. Wait, are you trying or are you doing?
I'm doing. And I'm not trying, I'm doing.
Okay.
Because I've got so many different goals I'm working on right now, so I'm doing.
Got it. So what time, and can I hold you accountable?
Yeah, you can hold me accountable.
So with the how long has that been a goal for you to reach out to 10 people? Because I love it. I absolutely love it. That's phenomenal.
Since Thursday, and I have 30 so far. So
Okay.
since Thursday of last week.
So it's for like you're doing it weekdays. So you started.
Yeah, it's
so
10
Friday
days
night,
per.
Monday, and then today. So you're pretty much hitting it, right? Unless you
Right. Mm-hmm.
providing you didn't start on Thursday, right? But
no, I didn't start on Thursday. I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I guess you
Monday,
slept today. Okay, well,
right,
great.
I slept
That's
today.
great. That's phenomenal. Great job. That I love it. So stuff like this, guys, can really get things going, right? Okay, Daniel, I can get that for you. Yes. So any questions about the battle squad, your battle buddies, the accountability? What things are we nervous about? I mean, if you need a DM me privately, if you don't want to come in front, then that's fine too. You know, if I don't know about something to fix a challenge, I won't be able to fix it. Weird how that works, right? But I'm telling you guys, this is going to be the biggest difference from in 2 months from now. You're either going to be like so ecstatic, I lost my pen. So ecstatic, so excited that you met with your battle buddy, your battle squad, and okay, that lid's lost. And that you're able to hit your goals, and you made it like easy. Every week was like a success, or maybe it was a quote unquote failure, but it's not necessarily even a failure. It's just I learned something. You know, I allowed my brain, or I allowed excuses to get in front of my commitments I have. You know, those kind of things, right, guys? Okay. What questions do we have about the accountability, about the battle buddies? Thoughts?
One of mine doesn't have a phone number.
Yeah, is that the? I was what? Bruce, Natalie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, right,
I
Natalie.
just added mine.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, you're the man. I have Natalie's husband's phone number, but I don't have Natalie's. But but you can also DM, you can also message people on School Guys. So if, for example, like Natalie, like Josh, you can talk to you can just message her directly.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just saw that. Sweet. I will do that.
Yeah, so that'd be a good way to kind of, and I create it so it should be clickable to the school. So you should be able to click on the name. It should take you to their profile in the school community. But here, I'll put in Spencer's, because they're kind of doing it. They're working together and stuff, right? I think Spencer's
cool.
doing the 90-day challenge and she's doing the games. So yeah, I'll put in Spencer's number, and then if anything, he can give you her number, and then go from there. Let me do it now before I forget. Anyways, what other questions do we have about battle buddies and any of this stuff? Right? Is it clear as mud?
Oh, Jared, I have a question actually.
Yes.
So Is my accountability planner going to send me a screenshot of his goals? That way I have it clear of what he's targeting.
I like that. I like that idea. So that's something you guys need to talk about. Like if that's something you want to be like, um, I want you like because here's the thing, guys. I can say yes, I made 100 calls. Now, is that true or not? Maybe not. So I would strongly suggest and say like, you know what? Where's the proof in your MMAs? I called so many people, and maybe you don't have a dialer, so you don't have like, okay, here's this clear, like I dialed this many numbers or whatever, but here's a screenshot of my phone log of all of these numbers. You can white out anything you guys want to white out, that's totally fine. I think that's a great idea, Anna. I generally think it's a really, really good idea. I'm not going to necessarily make it required unless it becomes like a challenge of people just not being truthful. But I mean, but it only hurts themselves if you're not. If you're not being truthful, you're only hurting yourself. But just the sheer fact of me knowing that I got not only do I have to meet my goals, but I gotta show Anna proof of that, or my battle buddy, my battle team squad, proof of what I did. It's only gonna be like that. It's just gonna alleviate one possibility of because I convince myself, or I can easily convince myself, like, well, I'll just fudge a little. Maybe I haven't made all my calls, but close enough. I made 80 calls instead of 100. So yeah, I'll just say I did 100. And if Anna's like, okay, well, sure. Show me the report. I'm like, oh crap.
Hey, Jared,
Yes.
I think it would be really helpful for me and my group if whatever our goals are and what we met, but like what came of it. So like I did blank and blank and nothing came from this. This came from this, and this is where the step we're on the thing that I started last week.
I love that.
It's really just like a sentence each because somebody saying I made 1 million calls and I sent 1 million mailers is gonna give them results, obviously, in those numbers, but like where did it go? Like what happened?
Yeah.
Good or bad?
End result of those activities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Because I mean, in reality, that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for the end result. Like again, Creighton last games, he made one call and fell ass backwards into a deal. One call got him the results of potential of over $70,000 in earnings in that deal. That's a pretty good result. You know what I mean? Obviously, he got a little lucky on that part, but he took the action, and then he did also I'm leaving here with something. So I think just knowing what the results are can also help out a lot, because then it's like if you're reporting the results, like I've made 500 phone calls and got not much of anything, right? Like Caden, for example. Caden, how many calls did you make before you got that appointment with these guys that you're just about to hopefully get under contract once you figure out some of the last minute details or the last details on it?
Like 280-ish.
So he made 280 phone calls, and then he got an appointment. He went out there, chatted with the people, did probate information, and then we're running the numbers, and like there's some real possibilities. We just need to find out a little bit more about like the mortgage and things like that to really give the final offer. But I mean, I think he has a pretty decent deal here, and he would have not got that if he didn't make those phone calls. So like, if it took him a week to get 280, my goal is 300, but I got a deal like pretty much locked under contract or soon to be locked under contract. That's a huge success. That's a huge win. But it would happen if you didn't make those calls. So kudos to you, man.
One more thing I want to ask you. How did I choose the punishment if my partner or I am not meeting the goals?
So okay, yeah. So how do you choose your punishment? That's going to be something that makes sense for you. Like again, whatever that punishment is, it has to be bigger than the fear of doing it, right? So whatever that punishment. Now, it could be a punishment like in financially. Could be a punishment that way. It could be punishment. So you have to like I was saying, suggest like donate money to a charity you don't believe in, right? Maybe it's not even now.
I get to choose. Okay, I'm going to donate $50. when I don't.
Exactly, right? It could be like for just without getting political, if you're like pro-life or pro-choice or whatever you want to call it, like whatever side you're sitting on, like for me, I'm very pro-life, and so like if I had to donate money to a pro-choice charity, that's like I'm giving money so people, and this is don't let's not get political, but like for me, like that's a huge punishment because like in my mind, like I'm spending $50 to help people kill babies. I mean, that's pretty heavy. You know what I mean? So whatever the punishment is, like it needs to be fitting for you and your personality. And it doesn't again it doesn't necessarily have to be about financially. It could be like like for me, like I used to many times, like I have to go and sing on my little teapot and embarrass myself in front of the 6,000 followers I have. I mean, and without an explanation, you can't just like, oh, I didn't hit my goals, guys. Here's this thing. No, that's really embarrassing for me. So, and if you're having a hard time coming up with it, well, I mean, I think it'd be a really good idea for everyone to comment in the chat what your punishments are going to be, because we're all going to need some ideas. And maybe like as you're going and you see and you're reading, like if I'm going through and I'm seeing Anna's punishment and like, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna use hers. That's a really good idea, right? Or whatever it may be. Yeah.
We gotta report every Friday, right?
Yes.
Every Friday. Oh,
Well,
okay.
so we need to fill out that sheet for the number of MMAs if you had your every Friday, but you're meeting with your accountability with your battle buddies that you want to do it before that Friday, right? But
in the middle of the week, like Wednesday.
yeah. So, but I mean, maybe the meeting's gonna be on a Saturday or something. If that makes sense for you guys, if you're meeting in person or whatever, that's fine. Let's just make it work for the week and maybe count it for the following week. So that works.
Hey,
Melissa
Jared.
says if you need some ideas. Okay. Yep. Oh, that was a direct. Oops. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Courtney.
So I don't like the idea of punishment, but so I've been trying to think of that one for a while, and I came up with something that I really liked, which doesn't sound like the definition of a punishment, but it is in the sense that by nature, I'm a pretty frugal person, not a big fan of waste.
Yes.
And I am pretty sure most things people can do for free or with little money instead of paid. But
yes,
what if my punishment was if the things that I'm doing are generally low cost because it's mostly just calling and things like that, then my punishment is I have to spend an amount of money that I'm not in favor of on money making activities to kind of recoup the miss if I have a miss that week. Like if instead of $200 taking somebody out to dinner or something like that, just doing like, okay, I wouldn't want to spend $200 a week unless I was actively recouping that money already.
Right.
Making that my punishment, that I have to spend money on leveling up the MMAs if I didn't do it the way I prefer, which is more sweat equity, kind of just making the call style. So is there anything counterproductive in there, or is it sound is good?
I like that.
I think
but it's all about the definition, what it means to you. Like, so if it really is genuinely like, oh, I hate just spending money where it's something I could do, like I'm not going to pay depending on your personality and situations, like I'm not going to pay someone to clean my house when I know I can just go and clean it. It's going to take me an hour to clean it or whatever, right? And paying someone to do that when I know I could have done it or should have done it last week, that's a real like heart wrencher. Then I think that's a great idea. And it's also putting the money towards the next. But then you want to make sure that's like, okay, cool. I'm going to put in $200 in marketing, whether that's going to be ads or that's going to be mailers or paying someone to make phone calls for you for whatever. It just needs to be significant enough, right? Yeah. So for some people, like putting money into marketing, like, oh, well, I probably should have done it anyways. You know what I mean? But if that punishment is bigger than whatever is going to stop you from doing it, then yes.
Okay.
Right. I like that idea. I like that a lot because no matter what, you're moving that needle ahead, towards your goals. And if you guys want to attach the punishments / rewards to kind of hitting like in that same direction, then awesome, great. Just make sure that it's not you can't make Yeah. I don't really know how to articulate that, but yeah, I think that makes sense. As long as it makes sense for you, and that's the biggest thing. So this is all personal stuff, and so like that $200 in may not be well, and it could be, especially if the $200 is using $200 as an example, could be like I don't necessarily have $200 just to throw out there in marketing. That's why I'm making the calls myself, kind of thing. Then that can definitely be like, oh man, it's a punishment, but it's also punishment that goes towards. So whatever that works out, right? What other? Let's get some. If there's other people that are looking for some ideas as far as punishment and rewards, what one reward that I'd like I absolutely love. I'm a big nerd. If you guys didn't know this, if you've had any conversation with me, you probably picked it up. But I love playing the card game Magic the Gathering. It's an addiction of mine. It's carpet crack. But if one of my rewards, like I can go to the card shop and just play for 2 hours. Play a stupid little card game. I mean, it's stupid for anyone else that's watching, but for me, it's so much fun. It's not something that I really give myself time. Not anymore. I used to be a huge gamer back in the day, but then like life and kids and there's don't have time for that. But now I'm like, okay, cool. So some of my rewards are like, I'm gonna game for an hour, or whatever that is, right? I'm gonna go jump on and play some Halo that I haven't played in freaking years. That's a great reward for me. You know what I mean? And just and knowing that it's like I put a timer on and I know it's not like a consistent necessarily thing, but it's attached to the success I've had that the last week of just me completing my goals. So what other ideas? Let's come up with some ideas here while we're on the call, or if anybody has any questions or any thoughts about the accountability partners, battle buddies, because more people need ideas. So let me we can brainstorm for the next 10 minutes because this can be helpful. Even if someone's watching the recording, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's what I can do."
I think I know what I'm going to do for my reward, but I have no idea what I'm going to do for my shtick, my punishment. Okay. I have no. Yeah, that's what I've been like. I've been listening to some of your guys' ideas, but I'm like, I don't even know.
What's your reward if you don't mind sharing? If you can share.
I'm gonna go. I love going on drives.
Okay.
I got my little Miata, little convertible sports car. So I'm gonna. Nice. I don't get to drive it nearly as often. I haven't taken that thing out in months, and just going out and doing a canyon drive, and stopping at one of my favorite places to get lunch out in Heber. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't get nearly enough time to get to go do that anymore since I had kids. So
no, I love that, man. I love that. And so yeah, Melissa also asked she needs ideas for her stick too. Right. Go ahead, Jeff.
This is going to be different for everyone, but this will be like a category. Food you absolutely detest, and you have to eat it.
Okay. So like some roast meal, snack or something, and you gotta eat it. That could be something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's and it has to be gross enough where it's like I would rather make phone calls than eat that garbage. Like for me, papaya. If my punishment, actually, that's a pretty good punishment for me. I can't stand papaya for the life of me. And I served my mission. I went to Mexico for 2 years teaching people about Jesus Christ. And one of the papaya was really big down there where I served. And I was in an area where if you didn't eat everything that they gave you, they wouldn't have you come back. And so I would have to muscle down papaya. And it's so like it took every ounce of power not to gag and throw up. I'd like throw sugar on it. I'd just be, and then the people would just laugh because they can obviously tell I didn't like it, but they just let me suffer because it was hilarious, which I respect that. Yeah, dude, that's actually a really good punishment for me. Now that I think about it, like, yeah, I'm just come out. Yeah, papaya, eating papaya if I don't hit these goals. I would rather sing I'm a Latipa on social media than eat a full like half a thing of papaya. Yeah. Okay, Jeff, you got me thinking. See, this is good. Great. So, gross food, right? I love their shakes with coconut. Ugh. As long as it doesn't have papaya, I'll eat coconut all day long. Oh, Dairy Queen. Okay, that's Keen. Excuse me. Okay. What other sticks and rewards are you guys thinking of? Or some ideas that may be kind of good. Maybe it's not a stick for you, but it could be for someone else. You know what I mean? That might be something, right? Maybe if there's like a show that you're a series you're watching, everyone's watching series, right? Maybe for that week you can't watch that series. So you don't get to watch the next show. You know, so what's the big series that's going on now? I don't know. I don't watch it too much, but the is there like a Game of Thrones going on right now? Kind of, I'm not literally Game of Thrones. I know it's over, but you know that could be something too. If it's like a show you're really into, and you're just waiting for the next episode, like okay, you can't watch it until you get your reward. I mean, or until you hit your goals. Like that's your stick. You can't watch that certain show. So that could be something as well. Another thing is like you have to donate your time to something you hate. Like maybe this could be a stick or a carrot or a stick, really. But maybe that's like going out and volunteering at old folks' home and just let them talk, and just listen to them. That could be very rewarding, but also could be like the worst thing that's ever happened because depending on your mindset and countenance, I suppose. But that could be something too, like you just because they take people like they'll take volunteers and just like yeah, you're just gonna be a companion for talk to these people for an hour, and that could be a reward as far as you really get cool stories, you get connected to these people, and for other people it could be like I would personally hate that, not because I don't enjoy, but like just my personality, like let's move, let's do some stuff, let's go on, and then listen to like a really not so boring story. I don't know if they're war stories. Oh yeah, that'd be a huge reward for me. It'd be so cool. But anyways, stuff like that, right? What other ideas do we have for sticks for the stick and carrot?
Jared, back to my other one. You could have to
Yes.
pay $15 in mailers to everyone else on your buddy team if you didn't meet your goal.
Oh, I like that.
Total fail because it helps them, but it's also like crap. If I had 5
Yeah.
people on my team and I just spent that money on everyone else, I could have just done it myself or made my calls.
It also I like that idea a lot, and it's whatever the amount. Maybe it's $15, maybe it's like 20, 200, whatever the amount that's big enough for you to feel it. But then it's like it also incentivizes your team to hold you accountable, because if you don't hit it, then it's like, oh great, I just got an extra $50 in marketing expense. So yeah, I like that a lot. That's a really good idea. It could be, maybe your spouse always wants to do something and it's something you hate. I mean, that could be something, right? Or taking the kids out to a place where you absolutely disdain, and but you're gonna muscle through it and bear because that was your punishment. And if you can turn it into where it's kind of benefit other people too. Well, I guess that's a thin line. I guess that could be, as long as you don't feel great about it, if it benefits someone else. Or the pain's bigger than the benefit of it, then that's kind of what you need to get, right? But also brainstorm. Maybe the first session you guys are talking, that you guys meet with your battle buddies, you're just brainstorming on some of your punishments. What's your reward? What's your punishment? Or maybe not punishment. We should stick with stick. What's your stick? What's your carrot? We have a few more minutes. Does anybody, who else wants to share any ideas they have? So we had Josh came out. Frankie, Frank, what do you have do you have a stick or carrot that you can think of right now, or maybe some possibilities other people can think of? He's always doing stuff. Oh, Jason. Hey, Jason, are you on your place where you can talk? Jason the man.
Jared, mine was more like,
yeah.
If for every day that I miss my goal, I have to pay $5. I don't necessarily know I was going to pay, but that's also my reward. So if I meet my goal, then I maybe not 5, but whatever the amount. So if I miss it, I have to pay it away. But if I meet it, then I get to keep it.
And that can be something that you can spend on yourself or go towards some other goal or something like that, right?
Yeah, I really liked Courtney's with giving it to the team for the mailers. That was good.
I like that too. I like that a lot too. It's a really good idea because, again, it incentivizes them to hold you accountable. Like they're going to hold you accountable, and you don't hit it. Like, well, tough. There's less sympathy in that scenario. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, yeah, you tried your best. Don't worry about it. Like that's probably not going to happen in Courtney's if that was something that Courtney's doing or someone else is doing. It's like, oh no, you didn't do your goals. Okay, here you need to send mailers to this address or just Venmo the money. I'm gonna
pay up.
Whatever makes sense. Yeah, pay up. You know, I mean, I think that's great. Put some. I really love that idea. So maybe talk with the team, your team, and come up with something where it's like it benefits to other people if you don't hit your goal. You know. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question that's really different? What came about the call that we did the other day?
What was what? Sorry.
The call that you did on.
Oh yes. So with the agent guy, right? That we talked to from. So he rescheduled the call for today actually at 2 because he was supposed to call me on Monday, or we're supposed to chat on Monday, so we got rescheduled for that call. So yeah, nothing's happened just yet, but we're still moving forward with it, seeing what we do to help. This guy has some other properties he wanted me to look at, so yep, love it. Okay, awesome guys. Yeah, so let's go ahead and put it into the community chat or the community posts about what's your carrot and stick, or some ideas of your carrot stick that you guys are kind of toying around. Because trust me, you're gonna be able to look at everyone else's and get some ideas. Even if you put something down and it's like, oh wait, I love Josh's idea, I'm gonna use that. You know, beautiful. That's what we're all about. So if you have any questions about it, you need some, you know, whatever it may be, right? Oh, okay. Whatever it may be, right? So that's the beauty of it. So cool, awesome guys. Well, I appreciate y'all. And if you guys are having any more challenges about seeing the videos, I think I've fixed it all. So the recording should be there for everyone. If not, let me know. Shoot me a DM. Okay.
Jared, where do we see who you partner us up with? I had a crazy weekend, so I didn't get a chance to check for that.
The Battle Buddy.
Yeah.
So it's in this chat room, right? It's in the chat right here.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna post it in the community chat, and then I'll send an email out to everyone so that they have that link. And it'll be pinned to the top, so it'll always be there. So if you need to go back to it or whatever, that it'll be there.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
Thanks, Jared.